everyone, how are you all? Welcome to another episode of Podcast Empowerment Evolution. I'm your host Nishita, a certified life coach, and I'm here to empower you to help you reach your full potential. So, this podcast is about creating strong relationships. Uh, this in this particular episode, we'll be diving deep into the world of meaningful connections. How do we build those connections? We'll explore how to create those relationships, how to nurture the ones that you already have. We'll discuss strategies, we'll share frameworks that enhances your relationships with your friends, family, colleagues, and anyone you know. Before we dive deep into this topic, I'd like to start with a quote by American poet Maya Angelou that says, people will forget what you said. People will forget what you did, but people will never forget how you made them feel. So, the simple yet powerful quote captures the essence of strong relationships. It's all about making the other person feel valued, respected, and understood. So, grab a cup of your favorite beverage, get comfortable, and let's dive deep into the world of nurturing meaningful connections. Now, how do we how do we go about it? What is that one key thing that you need to build a meaningful connection? In my years of experience and with all the clients that I've dealt with, I believe that there's one thing that we need to build in ourselves to to build meaningful connections, to nurture our relationships. And that one key element, the first key element that we need is empathy. What is empathy? Empathy is the ability to understand and share the feelings of another person. It's about putting yourself in someone else's shoes and trying to see the world from their perspective. You know, a very famous quote is empathy is a choice, and it's a vulnerable choice. Because in order to connect with you, I have to connect with something in myself that knows that feeling. To be empathetic, we must be vulnerable and open to emotions of others. Now, I had a disagreement with a friend long time back. We were both hurt and we didn't want to talk to each other. It seemed like our friendship was at the brink of falling apart. And you know, when you're dealing with friendship heartbreaks, it's one of the most difficult challenges. So instead of continuing to argue, we decided to take a step back. So we both of us, we took a break, and we decided to step back and practice empathy. So after taking a break of a few days, and we sat together and we communicated our feelings. We shared our feelings and perspectives. We tried to truly understand uh, each other's point of view. And as a result, honestly, not only we were able to resolve that disagreement, but our friendship became even stronger. I'll be very honest here. It's not that we did not fight. In fact, we argued. We argued over WhatsApp messages. We argued over calls. We were harsh with each other. And that's when we started hurting each other. So, in situations like this, it's always advisable to take a break. One, do some self care, do some activities that give you peace, and then sit down and reframe the story in your head. Reframe the story from their perspective. That will give you a sense of peace, a sense of calmness in you, and then you can sit and talk to each other, share your perspective with your friend, and you can tell them that what you went through or what makes you ache in a different way, and what can you do to maybe not repeat the entire thing again. And this entire communicative strategy, taking a break and sharing feelings, helped us become much more stronger. And to this day, I'm very grateful for my friend. And to this day, I genuinely feel that she reads my mind. She reads my mind, and it's just, there are times when I'm talking to her and I'm not sharing anything, and she says, "Why are you upset?" Without even a word, just with the type of text that I'm sending, She gets that. So, very important to have a fair communication. One framework that can help you cultivate empathy in your relationship is the listen, validate, and ask approach. How do we do that? Listen. Give the other person your full attention. Stop fiddling with your phone. Don't start judging them in your mind. Don't start counter pointing, counter them in your head or interrupt them. Listen to them with your full heart. Listen to what they are saying, where they are coming from. To validate. Acknowledge their emotion and experiences. You have traveled a different path. Your experiences are different, but so are theirs. It's been different for them. They have a different path to travel. They've had different experiences. So acknowledge that the fact that they are different and their life has been different. Show that you understand and care about their feelings. Third is ask. Inquire. Check with them, what do they need? What are their opinions? Demonstrate that you value their perspective. Check with them how according to them this situation can be resolved. And this strategy, listen, validate, and ask, is going to do wonders in your relationship. And you not only you can apply this with anyone. You can apply this with your leaders, with your colleagues, with your friends, family, spouses, your children, with teens as well. All you need to do is listen. With toddlers, all you need to do is listen, ask, and you need to validate their emotions. So try this strategy. Another key element of building and nurturing relationships is effective communication. This is so important. A lot of people don't understand that communication is two ways, and they keep arguing with each other and try to win over the other person than winning the problem. So I suggest effective communication is one of the key strategies to building a strong relationship. We've all heard the single biggest problem in communication is the illusion that it has taken place. It is essential for you to be very clear, open, and honest with others to ensure that there is a mutual understanding between the two of you. One common pitfall that we all have in communication is assuming that we know what someone else is thinking or feeling without actually asking them. Don't assume anything. Don't assume anything. There are a lot of times we feel that the other, so we just assume that he or she is blaming us, or we just assume that they don't like us, or we just assume that they're going to fight with us, but that's not the case. Please don't assume. This can lead to leaps of misunderstandings, hurt, and feelings. Feelings of pain, feelings of being lonely, and this can result in conflicts. Try to improve your communication skills. How do we do that? Once again, active listening. Focus on the other person's word, their body language, and ask questions to clarify the points that you think you need clarification on. You know, active listening is so important because a lot of people they don't communicate to listen. They communicate to answer back. And that's not what we are focusing on here. We are genuinely asking you to listen, to understand with empathy. Non-violent communication. Share your feelings and needs without blaming and accusing to the other person, and make requests rather than demands. How do we do that? So blaming is, oh my god, definitely wrong. Always remember, you are not against them. You both are against the problem that you are facing. It's us against the problem. We've all heard that. So maybe just try and figure out, you know, that how can you communicate with them without accusing them of something. And instead of making a demand that you should be doing this, remove the word should. Nobody should be doing anything. They should want to do it. In relationships, you empathize with the other person. You become considerate. Maybe you can make a request to them. You can request them that, for example, when me and my husband, for example, we have a fight or we argue on something, we genuinely talk to each other, and we've learned this through experience that instead of saying, yelling at each other, we sit down and we take a break from each other, which is very important. Then we sit down and we tell that I request you to not do this with me because this hurts me. So request them rather than demanding them, because nobody is here to fulfill your demands. But if you be considerate enough, they might fulfill your request. Be extremely mindful in your communications. Be present. Be aware during your discussions, during your communication. You know, avoid all the distractions. Stop fiddling with your phones. Maybe pause your work for some time. Avoid multitasking. Just be there, because that relationship to you is important. That's your number one priority right now. Be very mindful while communicating, while resolving a conflict. Incorporating these techniques will help you foster a more open and honest dialogue with others. That will lead to definitely stronger and better relationships. The third strategy that you can adopt to build meaningful connections is by showing appreciation and gratitude. Always remember, what appears six to you might appear nine to them. So, one way or the other, their effort might seem to be minimal to you, but for them, it's something huge. Understand that they are coming from somewhere, and putting an effort for you is a big deal for them. Start showing your appreciation. William Arthur Ward once said that feeling gratitude and not expressing it is like wrapping a present and not giving it. If you really feel grateful for that person's presence in your life, just express it. That strengthens the bond, that creates that positive feedback loop, encourages further acts of kindness and support. Here are some very few ways that you can show appreciation and gratitude in your relationships. uh, Offer genuine compliments. Like I said, their effort might look small to you because you do something which is grand, but they are coming from somewhere, and to them that effort was huge. Acknowledge their effort, acknowledge the time they are making with their busy schedule, acknowledge the fact that they got you something while they were working, acknowledge the fact that they noticed something in you, and they noticed your need and they fulfilled it is important. Maybe appreciate the positive qualities. See, everyone is a package person. Everyone comes with good and bad qualities. If you start focusing on the negatives, you'll always look at the negatives. Start looking at the positive quality. You might see that this person is short tempered, but you also observe that that person is very practical. You also observe that that person is very solution oriented, and they don't leave you stranded in a problem. So instead of focusing on the fact that they are very short tempered, maybe pick out good things in them and start appreciating those qualities. To really surprise your partner and build a meaningful connection with them, write surprise thank you notes whenever you're packing their lunch, or whenever you're packing their bag, or maybe you see their office bag lying somewhere. Put in a surprise thank you note, or send cuddly messages, love messages. Take that time to express your gratitude in a very personalized manner. This, I believe, another strategy I believe can be done not only with your family members but with everyone. Everyone, even if you want to surprise a stranger. That is practicing random acts of kindness. Surprise people with small gestures of appreciation, and bring them a cup of coffee, offer them a helping hand, lend them a ear, give them a hug. All of these activities help you build a very grateful heart. You feel gratitude for their presence in your life, and you know gradually your behavior towards them changes, gradually your thought process, your mindset towards them changes, and that leads to deeper relationships. When expressing gratitude, it's important to be specific and very sincere. There's a thin line between, appreciating someone genuinely and buttering them. Be very genuine here, be very sincere with your appreciation and gratitude. Share exactly what you appreciate about them, and why that matters to you. This will make your expression of gratitude more impactful. So here's a personal story. I had a client once, and I was doing relationship coaching for them, and so this wife came to me and she said that she's tired of her husband and things are not uh, the way they were before. They had their love marriage. They met in college and then they fell in love and got married. Everything was very smooth, no hassles. But a few years after marriage, everything fizzles out because practicality kicks in. And you kind of, she kind of kept ranting and ranting and ranting. I told her just one thing. I told her to remember why she married him. You know, we genuinely, we sometimes we forget the qualities we loved that person for. It's important to remind yourself of the good things that you liked in them. So when I fell in love with my husband, I loved him for his sense of humor. And when practicality kicked in after marriage, the priorities changed. We had a toddler, we had a baby, and then everything changed. Everything got busy. I got busy with my job and my baby. He got busy with different things. We had to really struggle find time for each other. And like I said, without time, without communication, you start building up resentments and you start conflicts and fights and arguments. But we were just sitting one day having a cup of coffee after months, I think, and it just struck me because he was cracking some hilarious jokes, and it just struck me that this was one of the reasons I married him. Maybe because of busy schedules, that thing took take a back seat, and but it still is there. Maybe you just need to appreciate the good things. Whenever I was hungry before marriage, he used to get me a pack of chips, and he still does it, but maybe not in that frequency. So just remember that there are good things about your partner or whoever you're dealing in conflict with. Remember why you're friends with them. Remember why you married them. Remember the good things that they did. This expression of being grateful for the other person's quality is going to, it's going to reframe your entire relationship. Just try these techniques. Very important, another strategy to build meaningful relationships is setting boundaries. While building relationship involves being open and vulnerable, it is equally important for you to set healthy boundaries. They help us maintain our sense of self and protect our emotional well-being. So you cannot pour in from an empty cup. We've all heard that. You cannot pour in something that you don't have. And to have your cup full, you have to have your emotional well-being taken care of. And that's what setting boundaries is about. When you set boundaries, you take care of your well-being, your emotions, and it's important. Daring to set boundaries is about having the courage to love ourselves even when we risk disappointing others. Why is this important? Is because when you have money is only when you can share it with other people. When you don't have money, when you don't have enough love in your own self, you cannot share it. When you don't empathize with yourself, you cannot empathize with others. When you don't show yourself that kindness, it's very difficult to show that kindness to others. Do that, do those activities that help you build and take care of your well-being to give a better version of yourself to the people around you. How do you set healthy boundaries in relationships? Very small steps here. Let me just give you some tips. One, be very clear and assertive. Communicate very openly and honestly without being aggressive or confrontational. You don't have to fight and tell them, oh my god, I don't want to do this, you do this, I don't want you to interfere in my daytime and blah blah blah. Maybe you can just sit with them and tell them that this hour of the day is your time and you need it. And tell them, explain it to them that without this particular hour, it's difficult for you to give your best version to them. So be very, very, very clear and polite to prioritize self care. Recognize your own needs and limitations and give yourself permission to say no when necessary. Especially with families, with Indian families, uh, as a married woman with a child, I genuinely feel that this is still a time where a lady is expected to manage everything. You have to manage the household, the kitchen, your families, two families, honestly, your child, your job, because you have to be independent. There are loads of things that you need to manage. Maybe to prioritize self care, you have to say no sometimes. Be very polite, be very, very soft in your communication, but give yourself permission to say no. Self care is not selfish. Please don't feel caring about yourself or saying no is selfish. It's okay to say no. That's all. The third is respecting other people's boundaries. When you do that, is when they respect your boundaries. Acknowledge and honor that they have needs. They need time off. They have limits around you, and then you happily accepting those boundaries and giving them the space they need. In that book, Men Are From Mars and Women Are From Venus, we've all heard that men, when they are in a problem, they put themselves in a cave. But what do women do? They talk, they communicate. So when your husband is upset, for example, you want to go and check on them. You want to say, "Kya hua? Please help. Please tell me. I'll be able to help him." But your man is caved. Your man is inside that cave where he knows he can find a solution. When you go on poking the bear gets angry, and you don't know. You think it's your fault, and then another conflict starts. It is their boundary. It's their style of resolving. Give them that space. Now leave them. Leave them to their own selves. When they need help, they will come back. Maybe go and chat with your friends. Have a life. Self-care again. Talk to your friends. That will be very, very helpful. So when you respect other people's boundaries is when they will start respecting yours and know that you need it and it's important for you. By setting and respecting boundaries, we create a very strong foundation of trust and respect in our relationships. We allow those relationships to grow stronger and more resilient. Fifth, very, very interesting and yet difficult strategy to build deeper connections is embracing your differences and resolving conflict. Two people will never be same. Even the twins are never same. Your sibling is different from you. Your both parents are different. You are different from your partner. You will never be same as the other person. It's crucial to embrace your differences and effectively resolve conflict in all the areas of your life. As an American author and motivational speaker, Dr. Wayne Dyer once said, "If you judge people, you have no time to love them." It is important, very, very important, to accept and celebrate the unique qualities that others have and to approach conflict as an opportunity for growth and understanding. I always believe so. Like every marriage has its own ups and downs, we've had our own ups and downs. Every time we fight, there's one new thing we learn about each other. So every conflict, you can take it as an opportunity to know that one thing about your partner that they might not share otherwise with you. So take that opportunity to discuss that unique quality they have in themselves. Maybe share your unique quality because they will learn from it. So try and accept the other person the way they are and accept the differences that you have because that's how a machine works. So a machine can never work like this. You cannot bang two similar size pieces together. You can only fit them in together. So try and fit the differences together and build a strong foundation. How do you resolve a conflict? There are very few simple strategies that I'm going to put in front of you. One, choosing the right time and place. Like I said, when your man is in a problem solving mode inside his cave, that is not the right time to resolve your conflict. Give them the space, choose the right time, choose the right place. Find a very comfortable private setting to discuss sensitive issues and make sure that both of you are calm and receptive. It's not only about you. You to definitely have to be in a peaceful mindset, but they also have to be in that same mindset, on the same tangent. Make sure that both of you are calm and receptive of the discussion that you are going to have. Second, use of I statements. Express your feelings and concerns without blaming or accusing the other person. You don't have to blame them for anything. They have a different path, they have a different journey, their experiences are different, and that's where their feelings, behavior, emotions are coming from. You have a different journey, and that's where your thought process comes from. Stop blaming each other. Third, and this is my favorite, this I have applied in my life since years. I've been Stephen Covey, one of the my favorite authors, in his book Seven Habits of Highly Effective People, said that win-win approach is the key to your one of the key habits of the effective people. I apply this win win strategy in every area of my life, job, family, everywhere, even with house help. I've applied this strategy. You have to seek a win win solution. Approach the conflict resolution with the goal of finding a solution that fits you both, that meets the need of both parties. It cannot be a lose win, it cannot be a win lose, it cannot be a lose lose approach. It has to be I'm okay, you're okay. It has to be a win win solution. And people who say that there's not a win win solution, that's not true. There is always a solution that can satisfy both parties. You just have to take one step forward together. By embracing these differences and resolving your conflict in a very respectful and constructive manner, we deepen our connections and create an amazing environment around ourselves where everyone feels valued and understood. So, in this long episode, we've talked about different strategies in different pieces of how we can build a relationship. Nurturing meaningful connections with others is a skill that can be developed and honed through practice. It's not an overnight thing that you can. One night you cannot just stand up and call people and say sorry for what you did, or maybe ask them to apologize to you, which can never be possible. It takes practice. You cultivate empathy and improve your communication. You show appreciation, gratitude for their presence in your life, setting healthy boundaries. You embrace those differences. You build strong, lasting relationships that enrich our lives and the lives of everyone around us. So, go on, maybe. So, how you can start this practice? I have a very interesting tip for you here. Take a paper and pen. Write down people who you think you have a hard or a conflicting relationship with, or maybe you don't feel that the jazz is there anymore. Maybe you think that the bond is fizzing out. So take a paper and pen and write names. No matter how many names are there, this document, this diary is for you, nobody else to judge. Write down names 10, 20, 30, 100, whatever number of names are there. Against those names, write one thing that that person has taught you, and you'll gradually realize they had a reason for them to be in your life. Be grateful for that. This will help you build better relationship with others. I'm not telling you to call them up and apologize if you've lost them. If the relationship is not there anymore, I'm not asking you to call them up and apologize. All I'm saying is learn to be grateful for whoever was there in your life. So Try this practice today and see how the magic happens. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining me on this journey today. I hope you found the above tips and strategies helpful, and I encourage you to incorporate them into your daily interactions with others. Remember, the famous Beatles song goes, we get by with a little help from our friends. You get it? We get by with a little help from our friends. So let's continue strengthening and cherishing the relationships that bring us so much joy and support and meaning to our lives. Until next time, beautiful people, take care, keep nurturing those meaningful connections. Love you all.